Sugar la, we are going to buy this thing here, man. But we are saving jobs.
And the National Credit Regulator, which means
so we are going to pump money with intention of investing.
So I'm saying that because he's a brainchild of that thing. So he's a creative. So I'm doing a package. I mean, to sustain the brand itself. But operationally, how dead business, I mean, point of view, but creative.
Where are you located?
But it's not about saving him as an individual. So guys, let's save this guy. We're not saving him. Think about the family. Azula.
Because we must verify that the
20 million rand, 20 M. I think it billion to save this thing.
Contributing factors to the access to finance, which is
so I'm saying about short-sighted and as an individual.
All financing institutions. We developed the policy on funding for small businesses in South Africa. Okay. That we are busy with the banks, we are engaging with them. We will be establishing a movable asset collateral so that they don't ask for
many of these ITC, there are many of these decisions I'm saying. Don't invest money, 20 M
businesses that are already
to save this thing and save jobs.
There are
20 minutes
some hurdles
to continue. Yes, space almost all the modes.
Service Commission and this report that they published.
He beat more than he can chew clear.
Are still failing to settle invoices.
Going, I mean, insane.
1.7 billion
retail spaces.
I mean, you can give businesses as much
mistakes were made
support as possible. If you're not going to be paying small enterprises in time, you are effectively destroying their businesses. I think it's why is government just failing to pay businesses within the stipulated?
We are aware that ignorance of our officials, but in certain circumstances, they will say, because we do follow up after the National report.
Dealing with the reality.
We do follow up with the respective departments.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
Because again, the challenges that SMMEs go through, for them when they get an opportunity in government, at times they've never received an opportunity, and the bank account is not functional, therefore they close it. Which is why
to be in this business thing. You would know.
Engage the banks to understand how SMMEs
he was getting out of game. Okay, fine.
We are now.
But the is so again, and
as we have seen through the Small Enterprise Act that has been.
We are sitting with the highest number of highest record level of unemployment
in terms of the law. So in the act that has been signed by the president, he then included or inserted the part that talks to the establishment of the office of the ombudsman, a person that must be a champion against unfair practices.
I saw that as well.
And we have written to Parliament now because the act has been signed. It is the responsibility of Parliament to appoint that body. They will be kickstarting their recruitment process sooner. We are bringing that intervention because we are aware of
using your wife. Fine.
No one.
You will account. Time to account will come.
Must really delay the payment of SMMEs. At times when they get an opportunity to do business, they go to the bank and borrow money. Now when you don't pay it, you are adding more debt in terms of the interest, let alone.
I only care about
some of them depend on that money. So this combat you're talking about, what are going to be their responsibilities?
Looking at business.
Also complain about the issue of red tape, because that's another thing that's a hindrance. People are struggling to do business with government because
how can you fail to say the business
industrial revolution?
Not 500, not 500 or 100 million, 20 million. Malem was asking a question. Where are these billionaires, black billionaires? The guy said he needs 20 million. But
to issue directives against those practices.
Mentor the guy, give him 20 million, and be in charge until the best stable.
Now you raise an important issue.
One thing is clearly you can see. Come in, it's the time.
When they issue tenders, that already.
Access to somebody so judge. What
this is why we jump into an opportunity to engage.
Going
back to the authority, the legal framework that we do not have. These are we are dealing with the red tape. The president had established an operation unit in his office that, amongst other things, deals with the red tape. In the department, you have a unit that is looking at that. We We've set up our governmental professional team
as you say you have as a black person.
It's different.
For
example,
these guys are billionaires and millionaires because of their political
links. You are
links.
able to buy a farm because you can afford. And when you buy
we can't shy away from it. You have a responsibility to uplift your own.
Because we don't have the water.
You can't shy away from it.
About that. People shouldn't try to exclude.
You have to.
Especially micro and small medium enterprises in being to participate in their economy by adding all those exposures. That is why we have up to 27% as part of the red tapes. Our teams are busy engaging all those that are taking that to cabinet to say,
because we're a genius. We're not because of a political link.
Look at 1, 2, 3 because you are excluding SMMEs. Under the Department of Energy, 1, 2, 3, for example, the popular thing that people are talking about because of the solar installation.
Elon Musk who invented this whole thing.
Fees that they had to have before they
and we are winning because it's just a political connections. All these so-called black billionaires.
And many others, as I'm saying, others
it's
in the law. The business gives that authority to municipalities. But the question that you are
all these so-called multi-millionaires and billionaires, it's because of their political links.
Understand the licensing process, which is why you will see
because we have applied
3 months
to say system
no. The fault of the licensing authority that they delayed was system the framework again to deal with that business licensing bill in order to make sure that we are able to create an enabling framework that cuts government so that people don't use licensing as a red tape.
There's so much to talk about, Minister. I'm going to take the latest in Eyewitness News headline. There's a message from Vusi in Bedford View who says, good day, Clement and the Minister. Please allow me to say big up to the Gauteng Provincial Department for paying contractors. That's not happening in practice.
That's not a township economy. That's an immigration issue that the Department of Home Affairs, as the only department that has a responsibility to say you can come to South Africa for
to set up a business.
Now, if you are coming to set up a business, it means you must obtain a business visa. Then for you to set up a business visa, as determined by the Minister of Trade and Industry, because that's a function now that is done in concurrence with the Minister of Trade and Industry, who then put the 5 million as a cap. So at least you must invest the 5 million. But now enforcement of that is where we are lagging. That is why you are beginning to see now the Department of Home Affairs undertaking some of that work. Minister already, when he was there, you have seen him going all out in the committees, because he's trying to empower the citizens to know that you cannot allow a person to do business who's here on a student visa or on a work permit, because people don't understand those things, which requires lots of education or awareness that must be driven by the joint parties. That's why we have a task team, Department of Home Affairs, of Labor, COGTA, and ourselves, then working with SALGA to say each of us has a role to play in empowering people in their communities, so that both those that are going to consume the services, they can know what is expected from the people that are selling to them.
Yeah, and the minute the reason I was categorizing this as township is I was talking in the context of these puzzle shops, the foreign nationals who come set up shops in the townships. Is there a loophole here that maybe is being used? Because as we speak now, there are many foreign nationals who are owning shops in our townships, and
there's no 5 million
come with a cap of 5 million rand. And maybe I'm thinking there's a loophole maybe where the foreign national comes and says, Clement, you own this, give me this garage, we are co-owners, and then that makes you then evade that 5 million rand cap. Could that be what they're using to circumvent?
Definitely that's what they are using. I mean, like, correct to say nobody who owns this puzzle shop who's investing in 5, that's not a 5 million investment unless it's a chain of businesses, which some of them are doing, by the way. They club together and they put their monies and then say Stella. Therefore, they'll be using the same visa for the businesses that they are trading in, which has been discovered, and the Department of Home Affairs is also trying to deal with those matters. But again, the lack of enforcement, including the relaxation in terms of issuing licenses and permits at a municipal level, was there was no clear framework on who can license, because if a municipality has a clear frame of who can do business in their area in which sectors, then they can know, or they will know who they have given license to. But do the property owners look at that? That if you're coming and you want to rent a garage,
people's race, SOWETO marathon.
Awareness becomes critical. And this was raised again. We want to really get to the bottom of this illegal foreign business people. Because we've got to interact and raise that awareness with those that we interact. Now the property owners came and said, Minister, you're not going to do that. You are taking away our bread. Those people are paying them. Now the issue is it about rental fee or is it about the high escalated cost that they pay? Because even a normal South African can pay if the rental is reasonable within the regulated property rates. I don't think South Africans will run away from paying a 10,000 rand for a spaza shop. But there are people for their mischievous purposes, because they know they want to close out South Africans, but also they're exploiting the gaps that are there. Then they come and say, we're going to give you 50,000 rands a month, give us your shop. So that
they're going to make a whole lot more than
and
that.
they're making a lot.
And then we've got children who are dying because some of the shops are not even meeting the health standards.
Hey, Mali connect with enforcement.
Children continue to die and we don't know what's going on. The government tells us there's a lack of enforcement. Why?
If you have listened to both the Minister of Labour and Employment, if you've also looked at others that are responsible, including Home Affairs and the task team that we have set up, because we've established the task team, the Township Economic Task Team, wherein amongst others we have a question that looks at counterfeit products. We're partnering with lots of stakeholders that are playing into that space, consumer protection and many others, in order to raise awareness and make sure that when we support people, they the original food. We are doing this because indeed it is wrong that people are allowing people to sell the same food of food that is not of quality. Now, again, back to the mandates. The mandate to inspect food, or the health inspectors, they are placed at the district municipalities and metros, local government once more. Is there capacity or not? We've done a study that we have seen that yes, there are licensing people who are put in those offices as inspectors, but there's very few inspectors in the district level, which is why we said there's a need for us, all of us, to join hands. I'm hopeful that Minister Motsoaledi, that now he's back at health, we will be looking at it, because we were both complaining that why would you want to give that function of health inspection to a district municipality? But again, I'm certain that those that took that decision, they'd seen in it. But we do believe that it is a function that must go back to the Department of Health.
The district municipalities are failing dismally. They are. Something has got to give. I want to quickly take some calls. Minister, if you can please put on your headphones for me. Let's start with these WhatsApp first notes, Abel, and then we'll go to the calls. Lucas, I'll come to you in a moment.
Morning, Clement and the Minister. Cyril here from Ramsey. I just want to find out. I've also gone to one of these funding houses. GEP is the one that I approached, and they keep telling me that they do not have funds available as yet to assist us. So can we get a bit of clarity on that?
Good morning, Clement. Clement, can you please ask the Minister, entities like NYDA and CIFA, they currently do not have a funding model for e-hailing drivers that would like to own their own vehicles instead of renting at high costs and so forth, who have registered businesses. What can we do? And are they working on a model to fund e-hailing drivers so that they can also participate as owners, as driver owners,
these big players, they're taking advantage of this guys.
Good morning, Clement. We're here from
rent to own now.
I'm
3.5.
pay ridiculous amount of money in my
foreign-owned sponsor shops that it's not only in the township. So I originally come from the East Rand. So if you look at towns such as small towns such as Panota and Springs, you find a lot of foreign-owned businesses whereby they've cannibalized those CBDs, and there's no space for new small businesses to enter. So the issue is not only the townships, the issue is also around these towns which are far flung from the main city centers, whereby these foreign-owned shops are still cannibalizing the industry, and there's no space to do anything. I mean, you try to open up a business there, you'll quickly close it down because you'll be told that this is strictly for Somalians or Ethiopians, as is the case in Granada. So I'm really hoping the government can actually come to the party and sort this out. Thank you.
Thank you for your WhatsApp voice notes. Minister, let's deal with these three first issues quickly and then go to the calls.
DFIs do run out of funds because we operate in an environment that would be like this year you have 200 million to disperse. That is approved by National Treasury. Then depending on the profit you make as the DFI, then you're able to increase that pack. And the profit depends on the behavior pattern of payment by the entrepreneurs. So, for example, at SIFA, we have said we don't like litigating small businesses that are not able to pay us. Let them rather come and negotiate payment terms. It means if you are paying 200 rands and now you're saying you can no longer afford, and there's evidence that you can no longer afford, we allow you to pay 100 rands. We extend the term of payment. That has an impact on your loan performance book now. It means the amount that you can give out to the entrepreneurs will be little as compared to what we have said you're going to do, because there's no return on investment. Okay. But we are trying to address that gap. We are going to be industry and competition in order to bridge the gap. The policy that I spoke about earlier, the funding policy for small businesses, we have advocated for establishment of a fund of funds in order to bridge the 350 billion credit gap that is in the stock market.
Easily accessible.
Well, we won't have 250 billion, but we will have some in order to try to implement this work that is being done in order to make sure that we are also engaged in the banking, which is why I said through the person putting a framework of what the financing institutions must ask for when they are lending to small businesses. Yes, it is not happening now. We are hopeful that by the end of the year we would have launched the fund, and as I said, we are finalizing engagements with the banks, including the creation of the movable asset collateral registry, wherein they say we want 10% or surety. Now we're introducing new things that if you have a car as a business that is paid up, why can't you use that and then you'll be given money? So all of those will enable them the reach in terms of the access of the finance that we are complaining about.
And the issue on the e-hailing?
On the e-hailing, yes, there are new business models that were coming up because it is a new industry, and these DFIs have been there long before e-hailing. So
e-hailing can't be new, but all these years now, new industry, relatively new, I understand, but and the new industry, it comes as part of an excuse, man. There's certain things that they should have implemented by now, long time ago.
And the new other entrants that we're introducing. The foreign
leziyisele manje kwabani isibondo imali mayifika lezi ifuma zisimali labo indaba yakho nje
Johannesburg, you're a small business owner. Good
morning, Chairman, and good morning, Minister. Thank you so much for taking my call. So, we run a business that is quite successful. We are in the tourism business, and we basically bring in international tourists from Germany who come through to South Africa. So we started the business, we used our own funding, we were able to market ourselves at the ITB Berlin, which is international, as well as locally. So the good thing about it is that we were able to increase in terms of the number of guests that want to work with us. So now we sat with the dilemma where we needed to expand. And when we expand, we need to get to employ more people and to get additional vehicles. So we reached out to SIFA in terms of assisting in getting us this grant because we do have all the required documents. But however, it's like if there's a lot of red tape. We keep being sent from pillar to post. or they never come back, and we keep following up, and there seems like there's no follow through. So my challenge is, even when you have every single document that is required and you meet all of the expectations, and in certain aspects you exceed it, you still don't get through to them, and you're still not able to be assisted. Now.
Yeah, and the criteria then is not logical. If you've got the relevant documentation, why is it still difficult? Lerato, thank you. The minister will respond to that.
Okay, can I just ask Lerato?
Sure.
The application was done to CEDA or CIFA?
Yeah.
It was done to both. So it started off at CEDA, and then from CEDA they checked to make sure that all of the documents are in order, and then it went to CIFA.
Okay. All right, yeah. Leshamonolo, you calling from Midrand. Hi, quickly.
Good morning, Madam Major. Good morning to the minister.
Sure, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, Minister, you know, I just want to add on what the lady's saying in the government funding. I do believe that this funding model works, Minister. The only funding model that works in our country, Minister, is to establish a state-owned bank. I take myself as an example. My minister knows very well I run around in business. I'm a self-made marketing guru. I didn't even go to school for this thing, but I know how to do it. I know how to get clients. But the thing is that we don't have support, Minister. And even the question of we don't only need support in funding, Minister. Funding is important, yes. But what is funding to me when I don't know some of the admin of the business of our I might be my marketing guru, but I know about the admin and all of that. If the department can organize workshops on how to teach us, before you even give us funding, how to teach us the other things that we don't know in the business. If you can do that, look into that setting up workshops, then that I think we go in some other.
Okay, got it. Let's have Minister.
Folks, let me tell you that we do provide training support to entrepreneurs. We run lots of those workshops. Even if you can go to our social media right now, you will see that there are some who are doing some training, because we have branches in almost all the towns in the country, in almost all the towns. So there's different programs, even those that are reaching out. For example, we had a group of doctors who requested that we assist them, because doctors are also micro businesses. So when they need support on the business aspect, because you're correct to say you can be a marketing group, but that does not make you a business person. So we do provide, that's what we refer to as the business development support, which is what I said we are enhancing this time, because most business people are failing because they've not undergone through that process. It's the pre-investment before we give you support, whether it's financial or non-financial, and then it's the post-investment, so that you can stay on in the business to get mentoring. So we do provide that. Do reach out to your nearest CEDA team. As I said, you can follow them on social media so that you can check where will they be. When will they be in your area? Whilst I agree with the sentiment that a state-owned bank can be a solution, but again, it's a bank. The Prudential Authority will be there in terms of the obligations to the bank, which is what I'm saying. We continue to engage just for financing, irrespective whether you're a bank institution or a non-bank institution, as long as you are providing financing. Because the critical thing is to deal with these aspects that are set by the authority, to say these are developmental finance institutions, not commercial banks, as they are treated as commercial banks. Again, we are engaging on that. We're dealing with that. Hopefully by next year, things will be resolved when we go to our budget vote. And the last one, Lerato, I really can't explain what happened. I know that we have the Tourism Equity Fund that supports us businesses in the tourism space. If you are saying you're complained on everything,
I'm sure
drop your application right now. Clement on his WhatsApp,
those who are in business,
and follow up. To also leave us a text, so that when we follow up, then we can forward you.
Really think my time with my family is my time, especially dinner time. It means a lot to them. But as you say, there are people that are constantly on email, on their their laptops responding to emails. So how do you align work then with your own personal values?
So again, I think we need to have the conversations, and I think we need to collectively in our teams and the managers and the leaders of teams need to open up the conversation and allow it to flow. That, if it's absolutely essential that we need to work after hours, then that's fine. But my time between 6 and 8 in the evening, I'm not responding to any emails because that is my family time. I think that boundaries have a much better chance of being respected and maintained if we communicate them effectively. So if we say up front to our colleagues, I'm not going to be available during these times. But I also think that, again, just to come back to the kind of the interpersonal boundaries, if we are spending less time, and I say this as somebody who, when I used to work full-time in a workplace, was very guilty of this, if we spend less time on non-work related things at work, chatting, catching up, listening to people complaining, whatever it is, then we have more time to do the work that we are supposed to be doing during work hours, and then we don't have to work so hard after hours. And so that's another very important aspect of boundaries, is that when we are at work, during working times, we must be paying attention and doing our work, so that when it's after hours, we can actually not have to be working.
Yeah. Here's a WhatsApp voice note that has come through.
Good morning, Clement, and your guest as well, Makosonke from Jabulani in Soweto. Clement, I just want to say that, one of the challenges that we are engaging in employment without establishing our talent, and make sure that wherever you are employed, you basically the employment is lining up with your talent. However, if it's not lining up with your talent, then work on your talent after work, because that will fulfill you, because now it's challenging when you are busy with something that has got nothing to do with your talent, and that frustrates you at the end of the day. So I think that's one of the foundation that one lays in terms of making sure that when they're employed and it's working for them. Thank you.
Yeah, that's quite some important contribution that you can reflect to that if you want, Judy. There's someone else who's also saying, hi Clement, I'm making sure that work works for me by working from home. The office has been asking us if we prefer to come back to the office, and I just don't like the toxicity of the office building, so I've decided to just work from home until I am forced to come physically to the office. Could that be also the solution, especially if you've got the option to work from home?
Sure. So just on your first caller, I think that he's absolutely right, that sometimes we are doing work that doesn't feel particularly meaningful to us as individuals. So the way then to find more meaning is to do, to grow our talents outside. So I think that's absolutely right. I totally agree with that. In terms of the working from home or going back to the office, I really think it's individual. Some people like to be in the office. The kind of work that they are doing, it's important for them to have that formal and informal mentoring and growing into the job. Whereas other people, it's fine, they can work totally independently and they prefer to work from home. So I do think it is an individual thing. I think that just staying away from the environment because it's toxic, it's kind of a solution, but it also is going to create a different set of problems, because obviously you're less visible. If other people are there, then they're going to be the ones to be noticed and maybe given opportunities. And also it's not really solving the problem, which is the toxic workplace. And so again, I think that it's important to be having a conversation. I would prefer to work from home because it is easier for me to get my work done, or I don't get drawn into office politics, or I don't get drawn into gossiping. And if their manager is doing their job properly, they will be picking up that there is a problem and that there is some toxicity that needs to be addressed. So again, it really needs to be a two-way process. We can't do it on our own. And actually, I think I'm going to write another book called Make Work Work for Your Team, because it's really the role of the manager and the team leaders to be ensuring that all of these issues are addressed.
Somebody else says, I'm prioritizing my self-care, relaxation, and my time for personal interests outside of work. So that's how they're making work.
Brilliant.
Work
Brilliant. Brilliant, because work isn't, and I've said this to you before actually, that it isn't a binary between work and life. Work is one of the elements of our lives. We have a very full ecosystem with friends and family and hobbies and